Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Kat Atwater from the DNC.
So good morning, Chicago. I'm Kat Atwater, the Deputy CTO at the DNC. It's my first time saying that. I'm here to give you a quick update on what we've been working on and what we're focused on this cycle. From the foundation to the future of democratic data and tech. For those of you who haven't been involved with the DNC before, just making sure that's working, or the tech team, we're a group of about 45 engineers, data scientists, and product developers. We were brought in under the leadership of Chair Perez to rethink how Democrats engage with data and technology. This means focusing on providing a platform and a foundation of data for every zip code across the country, and from candidates from the school board to the White House. And we're just as focused on providing accessible data and technology to those state-ledged candidates as we are to all those who are running for the Democratic nomination for president. And we're leveraging technologies in places where we haven't seen wins in a long time, like Oklahoma 5 with Kendra Horn and Kansas 3 with Sharice Davids, and the Minnesota State House of Representatives. Just to start off the morning with a quick reminder, we won a lot last year. We won in places we weren't sure we could win, with diverse, progressive, fierce Democrats. And a lot of you in this room helped make that a reality. Let's see. Yes, we won a lot. And 9 million votes is nothing short of a blue wave. So how are we at the DNC focused on harnessing the power of that amazing enthusiasm for continued transformation in 2019 and 2020? One word: infrastructure. And it may not sound sexy, but when I talk about building a foundation for all candidates, that's exactly what I mean. In 2018, the DNC supported almost 6,500 campaigns across the country with our data and technology. That resulted in millions of volunteer shifts and 2 times the voter contacts we saw in the last midterms. A lot of that voter contact was made possible by those of you here in this room. And the DNC can only take a small amount of credit for those wins. But we also know that it wouldn't have been possible without our continuing investment in providing data and technology infrastructure that everyone can build off of. Many of you may have heard tales of Vertica, or perhaps you were the ones napping or playing with your fidget spinners, waiting for the database to come back online. We are extremely proud to be completely overhauling the main foundation of the party's data and technology by replacing Vertica with a new data warehouse and analytics platform that is nimble, scalable, and secure. We lovingly call our new data warehouse Phoenix, picture a fiery blue bird rising from the ashes. And so many tools out there, from relational apps to digital targeting to experimental analysis, will benefit from the stronger central campaign foundation. And when we think about that foundation, we're also thinking about the ways in which all of you are changing the landscape of voter contact. In 2014, for example, text messaging didn't even register in our measurement of voter outreach. In 2018, it now makes up a significant portion of campaigns' outreach efforts. As we continue to build out a robust infrastructure of data and tech at the DNC, we're working diligently to keep our finger on the pulse of new trends in voter outreach, thinking hard about how to bridge online and offline mediums, integrate new tools and data flows, and facilitate broad-scale experimentation, leveraging every data point and every voter contact out there. When we talk about infrastructure, we also have to talk about the elephant in the room, or maybe it's a bear. As we go into what is probably the most important election cycle of our lifetime, we all must be extremely vigilant in our security practices. We at the DNC are working closely with our campaigns, with our partners at state parties and sister committees, and many of you to implement best practices, share threat information, and coordinate with law enforcement so we can ensure we are as prepared as possible for the attacks ahead. One thing to think about as we talk about innovation here today is that as a progressive and technology community, we are only as strong as the weakest link among us, and no one wants to be the tool or organization that leaves an opening for those who would undermine our democracy. This includes the technical pieces of securing ourselves and our party, but it also means that we need to be making sure we are finding new ways to find, target, flag, and fight disinformation where it lives. Tweet your vote, and we moved election day to Wednesday, are only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the lies and fake news that are being propagated to suppress voters and undermine our very democracy. We are fighting from our vantage at the DNC and working closely with the social media platforms to identify and dismantle these campaigns, but it's going to take our community as a whole and probably some very smart technologists working together, hint, hint, to fight this critical battle at scale over the next 18 months. Okay, that's a little bit about the foundation we're working on, so let's turn to the future for just a moment. We've been thinking a lot about how the democratic data ecosystem and how we can once again reclaim the lead in innovation over the other side. There are immense amounts of untapped data from both our side of the firewall and from the side of the IEs and the PAC groups, and we've fallen behind as a party in a progressive community. To put this in perspective, last year the RNC alone as an organization had 600 paid staff on the ground over the summer before the election and $283 million at their disposal. This doesn't account for the soft side groups in the Koch brothers funded organizations. The GOP also figured out in 2012 that they needed to be able to raise unlimited amounts of money to overhaul their data and technology. And they formed an external organization known as the GOP Data Trust to do just that. As many of you may heard, some of us on the democratic ecosystem have been working on a similar model, a centralized hub where as a community we can invest in improving our data, linking both sides of the firewall, and facilitating innovation. The group that recently formed to make this happen is known as the Democratic Data Exchange, and it's preparing to make this a reality this year. To dig a little deeper on this, as you're all aware, currently the firewall prevents hard-side campaign groups and IE-side PACs, et cetera, from coordinating. The Democratic Data Exchange, or DDX, will create a vehicle through which data can flow across the firewall in real time. I like to think about it like this. When I'm running a program, let's just say in Chicago, I can see where my team has been contacting voters. Or maybe I can see where the campaign I'm coordinating with is contacting voters. But what if I could see in real time that a labor organization was targeting voters in these areas and garnering economic issue IDs, and then another digital group was targeting voters in these neighborhoods and in heavily Latino areas? With the real-time exchange of data, we'll be able to leverage efficiencies in program and reach more voters, rapidly iterate, and ensure our tools and outreach are as effective as they can be. The DDX is just getting off the ground, and we're really excited to see the data start to flow. That's a little bit about the foundation and the future of the democratic data from the DNC perspective. I look forward to chatting more about it throughout the day. Thanks.